Hi guys, this is Ola from CADpond. In this video, we are going to be creating rivets for this series to be used later in the assembly process of our ship wheel. So guys, if you take a look at our PDF file on page 11 of 18, we see that we have two standard parts there, which is the rivet and then the nail. So I would be creating the rivet right now. However, I would like to show you something which is very important to know. So if you see written down there, it is written standard part, which means it exists in reality and then it can be accessed in any country at any point in time. So for that reason, the creators of Fusion 360 and other 3D modeling softwares have kind of imputed the standard parts in the database, or I should call it database or resource file folder of the software. But in this case, we are not going to be using that, but I will show you what it is. So if we go over to insert, we notice we have different things that can be inserted into our workspace. So for here, we try to check on insert master car component. We notice that we have a list of components here, all sorts of components, right? But what we need to do is, or what we need is actually the rivet. So in this case, I could select on rivet, and taking a look at our drawing, we have dimensions and stuff. So I would select metric, system of measurement. The diameter of the rivet shaft itself is 6 millimeters. So but here it's limited at 5, so we could just select on 5. And then we have the overall length, which on our drawing is shown as 46. However, the rivet works in a different way than what is shown explicitly in the drawing, which means it has a process which changes after a while. So here I would not say 56, 46 or 45. So we need it to be more, because when you're using a rivet, it squishes at a point. So it bends and changes, reduces in size. So but for what we have here, we see that it is shown that this particular rivet can be used for materials of thickness 36 to 42 millimeters. But for our use, I've seen that okay, what we need is the distance of 46 as shown in the drawing. Hence, we will change this from 50 to something bigger. Okay, so with 55 millimeters, we are within the range of 41 to 47 millimeters. So I could select on this, and then we have rivet types, and then we could select all sorts of other specifications that we need. Now the thing with this is it gives us the the dimensions for the standard parts, and you could also order standard parts here to your workshop or wherever, or you could click here, and since we are using Fusion, we could go over to 3D step file and say download. So when we do that, it downloads the step file of that rivet into our workspace, which looks like this. So when we use the rivet, it's uses what do I call it? Should I simply call it pressure, something like that? So this pin pushes, and then the other part of the rivet is squished or something. Yeah, but this is not going to work for what we need to do. Hence, I used that process. So let me just remove this part. I used that delete book group and its content. I used that process to come over here and obtain the particular dimensions for this rivet type, and so I'm going to be showing or using that to create the model of what we need. Enough of the explanation, weird stuff, I know. So we begin by going to our create sketch as usual. I select on this plane, I click on my construction line, and I draw something that goes upwards this way. So what I'll do is I would create a circle using our dimensions. So I'll just create a circle this way, not construction line this time around, with the diameter of 10.5, and then I would create a line that cuts it somewhere, right? Then draw a rectangle that starts from here into it. Okay, so with this, what we'll do next is I'm going to make sure to just model half of this rivet. So what I mean is I would create a construction line also below here in this manner and say okay. Next I would place dimensions. So the dimension between this point and this point should be 46 divided by 2, which is 23. Alright. Which means that this is also going to be the same. So what I'll do also is to create a construction line, because we need to have a defined length for this dome here, the top part of the rivet. So create a construction line this way, check, and say it is tangential to this line, but I'll keep it to be horizontal. Alright, the next thing I will do is to place a distance between this line and this line. So this is going to be 2 millimeters. Alright, then I will place a collinear constraint between this line and this line to make them on the same line. Hence we have this. Lastly, we have the diameter of this section to be what's it again, 6. So this would be 3 millimeters. And to round this all up, let's see 10.5 millimeters looks very small for what's as compared to the drawing. But we do not care. So lastly, I'll just pick this line and take it upwards this way. It's a normal line and not the construction line. Alright guys, the next thing for us to do will be to mirror what we have on top to the bottom. Mirror this line, the circle, and the rectangle. Let's see how we can mirror the rectangle, this line, and say mirror line to be, sorry, I have to select on this, mirror line to be this line, and say okay. Alright, with this, finish sketch, go over to revolve, and we select on our profiles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go to axis and select on this, and here we have our rivet. Now we say okay, and we have something like this. It looks really small, this top part, so we could change it and say sketch, edit sketch, sorry not this sketch, I don't know when I created that. So we say edit sketch, and instead of 10.5, let's just make it somewhat larger. Let's say 15 or 16. Finish sketch, and this is what we have. This is better than the previous, and so we have our rivet made, and we can save this part. For you could also increase the diameter of the circle in sketch 2 to make it larger and look far more similar to what we have in the drawing, to something probably 26. That's still okay. Let's reduce it a little bit. Yeah, so finish sketch, and we have the voila, that's our rivet. And then we can save this, and I'll see you in the next one where we model our nail using the same procedure.